My grandpa, there was a point in his life where he was so poor that he would run because he couldn't afford a jacket to keep himself warm. And I'm like, man, he had to go through all that, and I'm complaining about, not wanting to go to swim practice or working hard. My name's Nicholas Mahabir. A lot of people just say like I'm an import, but I've actually spent like half my life almost in Singapore.
Is it correct to say that breaststroke is your pet event, like your main event?
If you saw me swimming anything else, you'd be like, yeah, my body's just made for breaststroke.
Number 4 all time in the 15-16 age group.
Mahabir also getting under a minute at 59.96.
I mean, the first Singaporean ever to finish under 1 minute for breaststroke. I mean, what does that mean to you?
You can do anything that you want to. Olympians or gold medalists, or they're not like that much more special, That has to be the goal. I've never just had something randomly happen. Like that was my goal, to go 59. So I've wanted to go 59 for like 2 years.
You've talked a lot about sacrifice. There's sort of like an impetus that keeps you going.
I just want to be an inspiration because
earlier you mentioned that this period of time is like one of, if not the lowest point
in my life.
In your life, how has this ailment affected you?
There were a bunch of times I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna quit swimming like this. Especially as a guy too. Like you don't think that anyone cares or wants to like listen, like you just man up.
So wait, how's your day, man?
It has been going well because I was sick for like 3.5 months. It was really bad. Like I was in bed for like literally 3.5 months.
Shit.
If I went on a walk, it would literally like, it would just be too hard to go on a walk. So I was like dying. Like 1 week before World Junior Champs, I was seeded first for like 3 months, and like I was gonna qualify for the. I mean, I think I was. I was in good shape, and then like 1 week before, then I just felt really sick, and then I don't know if you know what glandular fever is. Like,
I've not heard of it.
Mononucleosis. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it was crazy. So I was sleeping like 12, 14 hours every single day and like not doing anything, and I'd sleep that much. Normally, even if I exercise 3 times a day, I can only sleep 9 hours. So yeah, it was bad. There were a bunch of times I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna quit swimming like this. So I went through like a lot of things during that, but now I can train. So I started training like 2 weeks ago, light. Today was the first day where I was like, oh, like had a nap for 4 or 5 hours. So today was kind of weird, but yeah, other than that, it's been pretty good. So
shit, man. Sorry to hear that. I mean, it sounds tough. It sounds tough, man. What you've been through the past couple of months. Wow. But you went back in the pool 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I started just light swimming 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I mean my levels like healthy is 0 to 16, and my levels like 2-3 months ago were like 400, and now they're only like 350. So it's like not that much better, but I don't know. I feel like I can do more regular stuff now, so I'm just gonna slowly move into it. But yeah, it really sucked. It was like definitely the hardest thing I've had to go through in my life. So
shit. Yeah. Okay, 100%. I mean, pace yourself, man. Pace yourself. Health comes first. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely learned that. Like I'll always remember that, because I feel like normally when you get sick for like 1 week or 2 weeks, you're like, oh, like I just want to be healthy, and then after like 2 weeks, you just like forget and take it for granted. But this time around, yeah, it's like traumatizing. So I'm not gonna forget and take anything for granted.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I think with like what you're doing, I think is great, because most people just assume, especially even me, that like pro athletes or just Olympians in general, they just have this like amazing life, and there's like no problems, and they just have fun all the time, and they like, it's all like perfect. But I mean, I don't know if that's very naive of me, but I think most kids, or like just people in general who are not like competing at that level, like the amount of pressure and stress and just everything that goes into it. Like they think you just go to practice like everyone else and just do the same thing, and then you're just like talented, so it just happens. But yeah, it's really not like that. And like there's so many like messed up things that your brain goes through, and like, because you're an athlete, like people just, and especially as a guy too, like you don't think that anyone cares or wants to like listen, like you just man up, and like, yeah, now I think people are like too ungrateful, which is a big part of like why there's a lot of these like problems, because like everything is, I mean, especially in Singapore, like everything's like, it's a bubble, like perfect bubble, like, yeah, there's like certain aspects to it, but like, everyone's got housing, like no one's homeless, everyone's got food, everyone's got transport, like everyone has everything. So I feel like that's a big part of the problem. When you have everything and you don't have like real problems, then you got to come up with your own problems, which is what you're seeing in the U.S. with all this like crazy stuff going on. Like so many people are just, yeah, I don't know.
And no, but I couldn't put it better myself. Like 100%. Like I think a lot of people, they don't understand what like pro athletes go through, like behind the scenes, the things that they got to grapple with. Things like competing with people beside them, maintaining a certain level. Family relationships. There's so many things that go behind the scenes. So I mean, I can't say I understand what you're going through because I'm not a pro athlete myself, but that's also the reason why I'm not really on social media that much, because I think sometimes social media can be like a facade that people put through. Like, sometimes there's a lot of focus on vanity and self promotion, but they don't put the bad stuff out there. So people think differently when they see these pictures or these tweets or all this kind of stuff, and think, oh, like you said, like these athletes, they're having a great life. They have it all good, but we never know what goes behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. I mean, thanks for sharing that. I think I really resonated with that. Okay, yeah. So introduce yourself, man.
So my name's Nicholas Mahabir. I am half Singaporean, half American. Um, Grew up in Singapore until I was around 6 years old, and moved to my dad's hometown in the U.S. And every summer we'd go back to Singapore for 3-4 months. So Singapore has always been home. Like I can speak Singlish. Like a lot of people just say like I'm an import, but I've actually spent like half my life almost in Singapore. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time there actually, and I can speak Mandarin, I can speak Singlish. So yeah, I'd say I'm pretty local, but yeah.
Sweet. So your dad's American and your mom's Singaporean.
Yeah, so my mom's like fully Singaporean, and my dad he's like American, he's American passport, but his dad's from Fiji and his mom's from Germany. So I'm just a mix of everything. So that's where my middle name, like Karsten, is German. Ray is like my Chinese Singaporean middle name, and then Mahabir is like Fiji. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, no, same as you. I'm so mixed up as well. So my mom, like your mom is also Singaporean Chinese, and my dad is Dutch, but he's a lot of mixed.
Mhm.
Like there's Chinese in there, I think French and Italian as well. Yeah, but so yeah, that's cool. Because I thought your name is very interesting. Like I was thinking, like what's your ethnicity, right? But
Mhm.
Fiji, that's cool.
Yeah.
And German and Chinese and everything. Yeah. So no, that's cool. So I mean, you've been living in. So your dad's hometown is California, yeah?
Yeah, he grew up in Northern California, Marin County. He grew up there since he was a young boy, and I spent most of my childhood there until I was 15, and then we moved to San Diego to start training. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Sweet. So you come back Singapore every year during a break, right?
Yeah, usually during summer or Chinese New Year. I think when we were younger, it was always Chinese New Year. We just do like online school from.
Yeah.
We just get all the assignments online and then come back for 1 2 months during Chinese New Year to get all the ang pao. So yeah.
That's nice. And the food as well. So yeah, so I mean speaking about that, what do you think are the main differences between California and Singapore?
Hmm. I feel like there's a lot more outdoor activities to do
Hmm.
in California. I like to surf. I like to fish. Like to just go out in the forest and go on hikes and stuff. I feel like Singapore is a little too hot for some of that, and fishing's kind of banned everywhere. So yeah, it's hard. But I love like just how nice and clean everything is in Singapore because now California is not the most organized, so there's a lot of you know just everything's like not that well maintained compared to Singapore. Singapore, everything's like perfect, roads perfect, plants are perfect, food is like really good. Transport here, I do not want to take public transport here. Like there's like people just take a pee on the train here. It's just wild. Uh, so yeah, those are some of the differences. But yeah,
Crazy. Yeah, yeah. I mean that put a smile on my face because like yourself, I was living in the Gold Coast. I was living on the Gold Coast for like about 4 years, quite recent. And no, like yourself, I enjoy surfing. I enjoy a lot of the nature. I enjoy hiking and seeing all the waterfalls. On the Gold Coast in Queensland and basically in Australia. And it's very different because when I'm overseas, I go out a lot because the weather's so good, right? The humidity is it's so much better compared to Singapore. And in Singapore, I just cook myself in because it's so freaking hot. You step out, you start perspiring, and you don't feel good. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we do share similar activities that we like. And yeah, so moving on into swimming. Firstly, just congratulations, man! Like on becoming the first Singaporean to go under the 1 minute mark for I think it was the 100-meter breaststroke. After you finish with a time of I think 59.96 seconds, right, at the US Pro Championships in July this
right.
year.
Yeah,
So I mean, the first Singaporean ever to finish under 1 minute for breaststroke. I mean, what does that mean to you?
yeah. I mean, it means a bunch to me, but I really couldn't have done it without all the support from the staff, the coaching staff in Singapore. The resources they provide are amazing. My parents, my coach, like my parents do so much for me. There's no way without my parents that I would be able to do any of this. Yeah, and just like all the coaching that I've received, but ever since I was a little kid, uh, I always wanted to represent Singapore. Singapore was always home to me. I've always been really proud of being a Singaporean. And when I saw Joe in Rio when he won, that was pretty inspiring. Um, so just to be a Singapore, national record holder is like I don't think when I was younger I would have thought that was possible. I think even just like even a year before Sea Games, all I wanted to do, it would be like a dream to qualify. Um, so yeah, I'm just surprised of like where my hard work and yeah, where it's taken me. So yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, that only goes to show. I mean, if you put in the work, the results will follow. And I mean, as a fellow Singaporean as well, I mean, I've been following you, and I'm just been very happy to see you achieve what you're achieving and what you're going to achieve in the future. I know there's gonna be a lot of hard work and a lot of battles ahead, but you just have to know that a lot of people like myself, we are following you, we're behind you, the country's all behind you. So you just keep doing what you have to do, and yeah, pace yourself, of course. And I mean, your journey since the beginning has been pretty different, I would say, because you started out from water polo, right? And you switched to swimming. So what happened? What started that changed, and what started making you take swimming seriously?
Well, I actually first started swimming probably when I
Okay,
was
yeah.
3 or 4, just for water safety. My parents just wanted me to learn how to swim because they never really swam, or yeah, they didn't swim competitively. Um, my dad almost like drowned when he was younger, like just doing swimming lessons. So yeah, he always wanted me to just learn how to swim. Uh, I didn't really like it at first, to be honest, because it was just freezing, and you just have like some coach yelling at you, just telling you what to do, and you're like, dude, like what? I'm freezing. Like I want to be done with this. And once I turned 6, when we moved to the U.S., I went to my first like club practice, and I thought it was a little more fun because we get like candy on Fridays, and get to like hang out with your friends. But it's pretty cold for like little. I was always really skinny, so I'm still pretty skinny, but I was really skinny when I was younger, so I didn't like just like shivering and being told to do laps. I kind of thought it was pointless. And once I was 8, I had a swim teammate, Max. He introduced me to water polo, and I was like, and the water polo was in the warmer pool, so there were 2 pools where we were at, and the water polo pool was really warm. And so I was like, nice, like it's warm, get to play a game, get to talk. I don't have to be told not to breathe. So I was like, this is fun. This is what I want to do. So I started playing water polo, but I kept swimming because it made me a lot better at water polo because most of the other kids didn't swim. So Max and I would like, we were always together playing, and we'd outswim everyone because, so since young we'd go to swim practice, and then like 20 minutes later we go to the other pool and do water polo practice. So that's been my life from a pretty young age. And when I was 13, I was pretty set on going to play water polo in college. It was like my dream to play water polo in college at Stanford. Um, so I went back to Singapore. I hadn't been back in a while. So I spent, like when I was 13 and 14, I spent those years in Singapore, played water polo full time. So I stopped swimming. I mean, I was still swimming at water polo practice and stuff, but yeah, I was just playing water polo like 10 practices a week. Joined the junior national team, and then that was the first time I saw like the swim team, or saw Joe, and I was like, dang, like they just like sit like not outside, but I'd watch from like just the side and like see Joe, and I thought it was really cool. And I asked him for a photo, and I told him that I was going to the U.S. to swim. Um, so yeah, I went back, but I didn't really, I still didn't really like swimming. Uh, but then COVID happened, and I couldn't play water polo because it was contact. So swimming came back first, so I didn't really have a choice. Uh, so I said, I think that was kind of a turning point where I started to mature a little more. And during COVID, when I couldn't do anything, I started to work out like every single day. And I kind of saw, if you, even though it's like hard and not that fun, I thought it was fun, but it's hard work. But if you like put in the work, you can see the results. And with water polo, it was just kind of a game, like have fun with your friends. But I started to see kind of the value in that, appreciating the whole process of just working hard every day, and getting something that like delayed gratification, I guess you could say. So yeah, I started to take swimming more seriously, and then a buddy of mine, Mare, he's probably the reason I started swimming because he just made it fun. Like we became best friends immediately, and yeah, we just joke around, and it was so like actually for the first time I enjoyed going to practice because I mean yeah, we'd mess around and coach would get mad that we were talking, but we were working hard. We're both super competitive. We can never win an argument against each other. Like we're both, if we try to argue about something, it'll never end. So kind of the same thing happened in the pool, and then that season I just got better and better, and my coach was like, hey, like you got a pretty good shot at this. I was like, oh, okay. So I stopped playing water polo. It was a hard decision because water polo is really fun. Like I have fun going to practice every day. I love doing it. swimming's hard. Like the amount of stuff you go through compared to, it's all on you. So water polo, if you're not having a great day, you can just pass the ball to your teammate. Your teammates got it. So yeah, that's kind of how I got in swimming. And then once I got faster and faster, I joined the Singapore junior team, and yeah, we moved to San Diego. We started training with Team Elite, and then yep. So
Nice. Mo, that's a really nice story. I mean, what I took away from it was that, yeah, I mean, like when you're with your friends, when you're having fun, that's where you're in your zone as well. Like I can see that it really makes you happy, and that really helped improve your timings and your swimming and your condition and everything like that. And wait, so you did say earlier that you don't like the cold, yeah?
I'm not so skinny anymore, so it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me to practice. But when I was younger, I would like shiver, shiver like crazy. I literally would say that there was like ice in the pool, which is like complete nonsense. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
come back and like, there's ice in the pool. Like it was not that bad.
But does your body do well in the cold? Like say perhaps I mean is there winter? There's winter in Cali, right?
Oh, it's not a real winter. I mean, it sucks getting up at 5 and when it's like windy and you're wet, but it's not that bad. Like, yeah, start getting into ice baths and stuff, and after that, it's
Yeah.
not really a big deal. Yeah.
No, but I also get what you mean because myself I've been swimming almost my whole life as well. Not the level as you're at, but I also did water polo at in my college at Australia, so I understand how fun it is, especially when it's a group of people.
It's a
So
lot better.
yeah, hey,
It's a lot better, huh?
yeah, 100%,
More
and
fun.
yeah, I love it. And yeah, so is it correct to say that breaststroke is your pet event, like your main event?
Yeah, I can't swim anything else. Like anyone who, I mean, if you saw me swimming anything else, you'd be like, yeah, uh,
But
that
is there
that
a main
guy
reason?
sucks. Uh, I've
Like
just always
yeah.
naturally like the way my body is like anatomically like my body's just made for breaststroke.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I mean I have like freaky leg mobility. I can twist my legs in all sorts of ways. Uh, and I've because I played water polo and worked so much on my
Mhm.
breaststroke kick. Like we would just get thrown a 4 kilo ball, and then just like I remember getting sick once, so I couldn't play, and then my coach was like, "Here's a 4 kilo ball, kick for an hour
Wow.
with your head up." So I got pretty good, like at just kicking breaststroke with all that. I used to swim butterfly kind of because we in Singapore we get punished by butterfly. So we did butterfly breaststroke kick for like hundreds of laps. So I
Wow.
got good at like butterfly pulling and breaststroke kicking, but it's not pretty. But yeah, I don't know. My freestyles always had a breaststroke kick. My backstrokes had a breaststroke kick. I can't kick properly, so I've stuck to breaststroke.
Yeah. Sweet. So wait, what's your shoe size?
Shoe size.
Yeah.
It's like a 10 and a half US, not anything crazy,
Yeah.
but my feet are like really wide. Like they
Yeah.
don't, yeah. If you look at my feet, they're like frog feet.
Yeah. No, the reason why I asked because it actually one of my all-time favorite swimmers is Adam Peaty, and he is the best breaststroke swimmer of all time, right? Like he's the fastest.
Yeah. Mm.
And yeah, no, I was reading an article about him recently. I mean, his shoe size was like 12. His cardiovascular system was really good. He was made for breaststroke. Yeah, no. I was reading an article recently, and they said that he in 2023 he kind of took a break from swimming because of some mental health stuff. Like he said he was battling a lot of demons, and there was a lot of doubts, throughout his career doing swimming. But he's still preparing for the 2024 Olympics. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because I love it when he does his breaststroke, and he's pretty tall. Like I think was his 1.91. And I know you're pretty tall as well, yeah?
Uh, I wouldn't say for a swimmer. I feel like when I go to international swim meets, I walk around and all the girls are taller than me. So
Shit.
I'm like
Yeah,
185, 186, but I,
yeah.
my dad's like 1'9", so but I'm not complaining. It could be worse. Uh, but yeah, I would say there's when I go to international meets,
Wow.
get pretty embarrassed by some of the girls there. They're tall. Yeah.
Really tall.
Just a quick one. I remember back when I was younger, I was going through an incredibly tough period in my life where I had no one to talk to about my problems. There was no place I could share my honest thoughts and feelings because I was just so afraid of being judged by people. And I realized that was so bad for my mental well being. It's like bottling up everything and just waiting for a day where it all explodes. So, no, we're not gonna let that happen for you. Because my team and I have developed a free social app called huddle.so where you can share all your problems anonymously, whatever is currently on your mind that's bothering you, whatever is making you upset or giving you sleepless nights. This is a non-toxic app where you can just be yourself, heal, and make many wholesome friends that will be there for you to support you during difficult times. The app is currently available on iOS at the moment, so good news for iPhone users. But we are working really hard to get an Android version out as soon as we can, so we don't miss out on the rest of you. So trust me, download the app, give it a shot, and I guarantee you that your future you will thank you for taking care of yourself. I'll put the link in the description below as well, and I'll see you in Harvest.
Okay, so walk me through a day in your life, like as an athlete. Like, what do you get up to?
So bed really early, 9 p.m. Wake up at 5:30. Small snack. Go to the pool. Uh, Train for 2.5 hours. Come back. Uh, do like eat breakfast, and then try to do some work. And then if I like, I just do work until I basically am done or just fall asleep. So I nap for like an hour, 2 hours, and then eat lunch, and then dry land for an hour and a half, like strength training, usually an hour, and then I go to the pool again for like 2 hours, eat dinner, and then yeah, that's my day. Yep.
Nice. Pretty routine.
Yeah, not much time for fun stuff or socializing or anything. So
Yeah, but like outside the pool, I mean, if you have any free time at all, do you have any like hobbies or activities you like to engage in?
yeah, well, I love fishing and surfing, but usually I'm so tired from the week of training, I just want to lay in bed and not do anything all day. So yeah, honestly, because of like how hard
Yeah,
I'm working during the week, I just need like yeah the weekend to just
yeah,
chill and not do anything. Yeah, I mean I used to have a lot more energy. Like I go surfing and then like for 2 hours and go swim and then go fishing and like yeah, but I don't know where that went really. I'm just kind of maybe I didn't used to train as hard, but yeah.
nice. Yeah, so I mean, this is a great segue into the next question. So I mean, I've seen you've talked a lot about sacrifice. I mean, why do you choose to do it? Is there sort of like an impetus that keeps you going?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm so I'm just really grateful that I have the opportunity to do this. Like there's so many people that, you know, aren't lucky enough to be able to pursue something like this. And yeah, I want to inspire like just younger kids or, you know, especially like Singaporeans. And I kind of want to change the culture around sporting in Singapore. I want to make a difference in that and, you know, show that, yeah, just show anyone that it can be done because I feel like a lot of people have like a limiting belief or like, especially myself. until, I don't know if you know Michael Andrew, but he was my neighbor, and so before, I thought like Olympians or gold medalists or some kind of god, and they're like above, they're just not human, you
Mm.
know. Uh, and I think going to international meet, like him being my neighbor and just hanging out with him and him doing the same exact stuff like I'm doing, like they're not like that much more special, like sure some people are more talented physically, but at the end of the day, like there's a lot of guys that are a lot more physically talented than I am. Um, but if you get your mind right and you work hard, I feel like you can overcome those things. So yeah, I just want to be an inspiration because I feel like I'm just so grateful for everything I have that it would be a waste not to work my hardest. Um, and I'm one of the few. There's a couple things that you know I always think about is like both my grandparents, like my grandpa on both sides, um, on the Singaporean side. Like one story that always stuck to me was that uh, like there was a point in his life where he was so poor that he would run. Like he was doing business and he would run because he couldn't afford a jacket to keep himself warm. So he'd have to run everywhere. And I'm like, man, like he had to go through all that, and I'm complaining about not wanting to go to swim practice or working hard. And my other grandpa, he grew up in Fiji. Like he was like born like in a mud hut. Like he grew up like on the ground of a mud hut, and when he was younger, like he would walk bare. He didn't have a pair of shoes until he was like something. He didn't have a t-shirt or like pair of shoes until he was 17. Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Um, and he came all the way from like some farm. Like he was selling vegetables just to like make ends meet, just to Um, so the fact that I get to go and just pursue something like this, I feel like it would be very selfish of me just to like say, nah, it's too hard. You know, like I just feel like I have a responsibility, and yeah, I want to use that to show that um, yeah, you should work hard, and like you can do whatever you set your mind to, because yeah, that's just
No,
what
no,
I.
that's beautiful. I mean, the experiences from both your grandparents. I think that's really touching as well, and I think that also helps keep you grounded because I can see how much of a great person you are from the way you speak. So, I mean, thanks for sharing that. And definitely, I mean, in competitive swimming, mentally, I mean, what do you think is required to be a top swimmer? Like, I mean, there's so many distractions. I mean, as a teenager, yourself, you're going to be exposed to a lot of distractions, 100%. So how do you prevent yourself from being distracted and keep that level of competitiveness at that so much of a high level, especially in the US?
Well, I think just consistency, like hard work,
Hmm.
consistency. I mean, everyone can work hard, but just doing things world class on a daily level. Everything you eat, everything you sleep, your recovery, your habits, like everything you're doing, um, just consistency. I mean, at once you reach a certain level, there's for me, there's 15 other guys I'm competing against. So you got to beat whatever those guys are doing. Those other 15 guys, you got to do it better. You got to do it the same or better, probably because they're more physically talented than I am, because I'm pretty small, I guess. I'm usually always the smallest one, so um, yeah, just consistency, and then yeah, distractions. Um, honestly, it's not really something I've struggled with. I've always um, been able to just say no to any distract. Yeah, as a teenager, especially in the U.S., like going out, stuff like that. I've never been a fan of, even before that. I've like, because I have hobbies, I feel like that's not something I ever need to do. And like the people I surround myself with too, they don't do those things. Um, so it doesn't really like appeal to me or anything like that. Um, yeah, that's just my take on it. I've always been like against it. I mean, I don't care if anyone else does it, but I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, I would rather go surfing than go out at night. So like I need to be in bed early. If not, I'm just gonna feel terrible the next day. But I mean, diet, like I'm super strict on my diet. I like probably have sugar like 3 4 times a year. Um, yeah, not like no no desserts or anything. So, but honestly, I've just kind of thought of myself as a person who doesn't do those things. So it's not even a thought anymore. It's just like how I
Yeah.
am. I don't. Yeah, I'm just a person who doesn't eat those kind of things. So that's just what I stick to. I don't really think about it. Yeah, but that's my
Yeah.
thought
Definitely. I
on
mean, you do you.
actions.
Everyone's different.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, that's also a good way to put it. Consistency, that's very important, especially at the highest level, in swimming. Every small little thing makes a difference. And like you said, you're competing with 15 different guys. There's a certain level, there's a certain structure in your life that you got to be in. Like you said, you cut out sugar and you have a really strict diet and you really only laser focus on one thing most of the time, and that's swimming. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, so final question. I mean, earlier you mentioned that this period of time is like one of, if not the lowest point in, I would say, your swimming career. So
My
you,
life overall.
in your life,
I've been very lucky to have I've been very privileged not to have like anything.
yeah.
Yeah,
So how
like
has this ailment affected you? Like perhaps like mentally or physically?
yeah. So basically, I was sick for like 3 months, really badly. Um, I was already sick in July, but even before I raced, but I didn't know. I just thought I was tired from training, and so I already had like symptoms of it like a month before my competition. But I was like, screw it. Like I got a race. Like so I didn't really pay much attention. I know there was like certain things where I was like, yeah, this is not normal. I need to get checked up. But it's like I got business to like this is to be done. So yeah, I didn't. So I pushed through it. So I didn't know I had it, and then I trained for another week after the competition, and then the next week I went to practice, and then I did a set. I was like, yeah, no, this is not right. I just started dying. Like it's not like me to just die that bad. Like I didn't do anything crazy that would have led to that. So I was like, yeah, something's up. So like, okay, World Juniors is in 2 weeks. Um, I'll just take like 1 or 2 days off. Probably just having a rough day or something. And then 2 days turned into 1 week. 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and then on and on and on and on. Wasn't getting better, and then 3 months, 3.5 months, and finally starting to turn around. But yeah, I mean, being in bed all day and not being able to go out or even for a walk as an athlete, uh, I think anyone who exercises knows like how bad you feel when you don't exercise, and someone who exercises like at least 12, 13 times a week, like basically twice a day, every single day, that affects you a lot, like mentally. So on top of just the sickness itself, physically, like mentally, is like this sucks. And World Juniors being 2 weeks, yeah, I was seeded first, so and I had a really rough year before that. Like I didn't really before my meet, I really hadn't improved that much. Since I hadn't swam even a minute since the summer before. So when I broke a minute, that was the first time I was even a minute, and then I like surpassed the minute and more. So already I was very like not in a great place mentally because I've been working so hard since like sorry 2 summers ago. That was the first time I won a minute. I almost broke 59 then, and then since then I hadn't even done that. So and I'd been like working even harder than I did before that. So it was really stressful for me, and I was training, or I still do now, but I was training by myself before that. So like 6 times a week I'm by myself, and it was a long story, but I basically train by myself now. Twice a week I have my coach, and yeah, so that was also very tough, like mentally to keep yourself accountable and go to the pool every day. Just like really like work hard when really no one's watching. Like I'll go there and there's like 6-year-olds learning how to swim there, and I'm just swimming in the lane next to them, like trying to qualify for the Olympics. And because that was already such a hurdle that I thought I had like overcome. Um, because I was like already like this like sucks, like it's already hard enough, and then I was in really good shape for like junior worlds and Asian games, and like our relay would have I thought our relay would have had a good chance. Um, and watching, yeah, it was just, watching World Juniors was tough. Watching Asian games was tough. I couldn't really watch it. I was just looking at results. But because I'd worked so hard to get to that like speed and like fitness and everything I'd done and sacrifice, and then that as you know with swimming, you take off like one day, 1 week, like it kills you. And yeah, especially when you're not exercising. I was literally bedridden. Um, yeah, it really like took a toll on me mentally. Um, yeah, but I'm grateful for my parents. They helped me a lot, and yeah, like there's a lot worse things that people are going through. But for me personally, because I'd like sacrifice a year of or all the years, but especially this year, I'd really like I haven't seen friends. I mean, it's not good, but I've probably only seen friends like since I've been back here 2, 3 times in like 6 months. Imagine like hanging out with your friends only twice in 6 months. So I really like sacrificed a lot, and then for that to just get taken away from me like right away, um, that was hard. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really religious or anything, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. Um, so, and I've learned a lot through this. I feel like through struggles and barriers, there's always something to learn from it. I feel like if I had just gone ahead and like, yeah, I mean, I like worked through like swimming by myself. Like, that was already a hurdle in and of itself. But um, I feel like I'd be a lot different as a person. I mean, I've always been grateful, but now I'm like just truly grateful for everything. Like, because I feel like sometimes as athletes we get like so caught up in like just performance and what we're doing, and that's like the only thing that matters. But really, there's so much more to that matters. Like the fact that we're alive and that we're like able to, compete or just, participate in sport is such a privilege. And, just having like just everyone being healthy, so yeah, I had a lot of time. I put my computer and phone away for a week just to. I thought I was being lazy, honestly, because I was like why am I not getting better? I thought I just like sitting at home and not doing anything. But I was like, nah. I put my phone and computer, like all technology, away for a week, and just like sat in my room and self-reflected. Had a lot of conversations with my parents, and yeah, I feel like I've really grown as a person. I've learned like way more than I would have if I just went on to like win World Juniors and qualify for the Olympics. I feel like, yeah, just being grateful for every moment because it can just all be taken away from you. So just gotta be grateful for everything. Yeah, it's yeah. I feel like I just always used to be kind of unhappy, like, oh, this sucks, like I gotta go practice, like it's like now when I look at it, it's like you get to go to practice. I would do anything to go back to like where I was before, where it was just like healthy and swimming fast. But at that point, I like didn't really like it. So now I'm just like grateful that for everything I get to do. Yeah, sorry, that was kind of a long rant, but
No, I really like the way you put it. The part where you said that everything happens for a reason, and I mean, it really goes to show that the amount of maturity you have at your age. And no, I'm just very happy for the fact that you have a really close support system, like when you mention your parents to be there for you when you're going through such adversities. And I guess there's the thing that we learn. I mean, for myself, I always have that mantra in my head that you always take the positives out of the negatives. And I think you really encapsulate that. And I mean that's part of being human, right? I mean, there's always ups and downs in lives. um and you're gonna face setbacks and everything. And I mean, just hearing you speak, and I also can feel the amount of sort of pain that you've went through. I mean, you've worked out so hard. You were the number one seed, and then just kind of have that taken that away from you during the latest competitions and the Asian Games and the World Juniors. And yeah, no, I mean, I really feel for you, but I'm also very happy at the same time that at least there's that self awareness. And of course, like I said, the support system is very important. And I mean, you got to keep bouncing back. I mean, that's part of an athlete's life, right? Like, you face injuries, you face setbacks, and you just got to bounce back, and mentally as well, not only physically but mentally. That's very important. And I mean, of course, there's athletes that I followed that, yeah, when they became even better when after a setback, because they pushed themselves further. But it's gonna take a lot of hard work, like you said. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing that. I think that's very inspirational to me to hear that, and what you're going through. And I think that's very open and very transparent and very honest. And yeah, I just want to say thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's it for me. I mean, I'll be supporting you, and you just keep doing what you do. Pace yourself, health comes first, and then slowly bounce back. I think you already know what to do, with your coach and advice from everyone. But yeah, I think it's very enlightening conversation that we have today. So thanks, man.
yeah, likewise. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I guess I did have one closing thought.
Hmm.
If there are any younger swimmers watching this, because this is kind of why I do this, just to inspire, um, that you can do anything that you want to, like, but that has to be the goal. I've never just had something randomly happen. Like, that was my goal, to go 59. Like, that didn't just happen because I went faster and faster. I've wanted to go 59 for like 2 years, so I think even myself, like, I just think that it kind of happens for people. Like, they just get, I don't know. I was young, so I just looked at it and was like, oh yeah, they're just fast. They just keep getting faster. And it's like, no, like, that has to be your goal. But if you believe it, like you can do it, but you got to just work hard and stick to it, and have fun, but don't have too much fun. And yeah, I truly believe, like, that. I mean, the main differences I see, like, when I see kids in the U.S. in like different events, when they're like really fast, like, you know, in their mind, they just know that they can do it. But if you talk to a kid who's like way off that time, they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's like so fast." So I would strongly uh, urge people not to pedestalize people or times. I think it's good to have a role model, but to be like, that guy's like, whenever I hear someone like, oh man, that guy's crazy, that guy's so fast, in your mind, you're basically making it impossible, because you're like, no, that's crazy. But you have to have in yourself, you gotta say like, no, I can do that, and you gotta believe it. And if you work hard, you can do it. So, yes, for the younger viewers, don't put swimmers or just people in general on pedestals.